Welcome back. We're going to talk to our guests here again and figure out what is actually happening. I have Lieutenant General Gurmit Singh, sir. A very, very warm welcome. General Gurmit was Corps Commander 15 Corps. 15 Corps is the corps that takes care of the entire Kashmir Valley and perhaps one of the most sensitive corps in India, forever in operations. So my question is that the images that you see on television, the face-off between the Indian troops and the Chinese troops, which looks today to be a long haul. So I don't think we are going to get any immediate solutions to the problem that we are facing today. How much do you think the military has a role? Of course, on the ground, there is always military. Why I'm saying this is, at the backdrop of diplomatic negotiations with China, there has to be a factor hovering in the background that we have a very, very strong military presence. There is mirror deployment. If they have a div, we have a div. If they have a core, we have a core. I mean, whether it's 3 Corps, 4 Corps, we have 17 Corps, which is a strike corps, so strike mountain corps, or any other deployment that we have everywhere. Does this play a very, very strong role in diplomacy finally?
Look, we got to measure in the perspective that what are the elements of power and war. Elements of war are military, diplomacy, information, economy and technology. A strong military gives strong options to diplomacy. So it must be understood, if you are militarily strong, you'll have more options in diplomacy to execute relationship with the other countries. And if you look at China, we have unresolved border issue and the question where between both the sides since independence, we've not been able to come to the level of solution at all. Currently, 22 talks have been held at the special representative level, but no solution in sight. As far as LAC is concerned, where this standoff is going on, in that area, we started the process of LAC clarification by exchanging maps of LAC perceptions. That got stalled after having finished the middle sector, that is the Uttarakhand and the Himachal maps which were exchanged with the perception. But when it came to Ladakh, the western sector, it got stalled. So there is a differing perception of LAC and standoffs happen because of that. Thirdly, we have got agreements between both the sides, a very effective mechanism to resolve the face-off in such situations. But despite having excellent agreements and the mechanism on the ground, still we had the face-off where there was a physical jostling, etc. But this time it is different. It is different from the point of view that timing-wise it is absolutely different. When the world is fighting the Corona war, China decided to enhance the activities in eastern Ladakh. And there was a content of aggressive, provocativeness and diversionary. In my view, it is neither a local issue nor an isolated one. It is connected to the overall scene where there is an internal political or the stability content of the China. There is a US-China Cold War, which temperature has gone up. There is a aspect that the entire world has risen or has stood up against the China to ask the questions regarding COVID origin and have demanded independent investigation into that. Entire world with this type of number of infection in the corona field and number of fatalities are asking these questions and all. The first time that many nations have stood up and said why Taiwan should be an observer in the World Health Assembly. Many changes are coming up and there's a lot of pressure, external and internal, on China, and probably this was reflective of what they did. Actually, I have been on this topic. I've been to China 7 times. For the last 28 years, I have been dealing with the subject. And I've never seen China behaving this way. In fact, to me, it's a big change. Diplomats, at least, they talk decently, they talk well when dealing with any problem. But this time, the Chinese diplomat decided to become wolf warriors, which is not acceptable. And the soldiers, like in North Sikkim, in the number of places in the East Ladakh, they decided to become aggressive and provocative. But the best thing is that the Indian security forces, they were alert, they were prepared, and now the scene is different. Indian capabilities, capacities, and the skills are different. The world has seen that after 2017 Doklam Plateau, they have seen what Indian security forces are. In fact, I would go a step further to say that if you look at the period from 1967 to 2017, it is evident that the military capacity has gone up many levels. And as on today, Indian security forces combat experience is far, far, far greater than what China or PLA is all about. Basically, Indian Army, the ethos with which the Indian Army does it work, whether it's a vow to the Constitution, whether a faith in the democracy, professionalism, our political and secular way of doing it is totally different from how PLA behaves or act. PLA is an army of PRC. It's an army of political party. Its excellent deeds have only been against their own people. See, having talked all these things, I would say that between India and China, both of us, we are the oldest civilization, unbroken civilization. We have 2.7 billion human beings between the two countries. We are 20% of the GDP. So there is a requirement that we should be able to resolve the problem of LAC and the border in a more mature way, which is not happening. But today's meeting which is there in the Eastern Ladakh, per se, if I look at it, this particular one, this is unprecedented in the level. First time, Lieutenant General level meeting is being held on the ground. We have never done it before.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant General Gurmit Singh. We'll slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll come to all the other guests who are joining in right